Hi all, welcome to the channel, welcome to the workshop. Today we've got Brian's Nissan Skyline from Fanhome. I believe today we're concentrating a little bit more on the interior, some of the dashboard features. So let's get into it, let's get building.
Welcome to the workshop. Tools are ready to play. We're gonna build something great, starting here today. Piece by piece we go now.
Right, so here we are, kicking off this build pack for issue 51. Now, I haven't actually looked through this yet to find out what we need from the car. Just from the parts, I can see we've got dashboard bits, but I don't know if we're actually attaching any of this to the vehicle itself. So, center console, got some center console bits. And okay, so we're adding it to the part we had previously. So we've got the gear stick and the handbrake there. It looks like we're only adding that handbrake into there for the minute. So looks like a few push fits. I'll have to get the center console from the vehicle. Right, so this is what we've got this time around. Obviously got that from last time. So that's the center console we done last time with that little door for the cup holders. This time we've got our gear stick and gear stick gator. Now this does have a D-shaped hole and a D-shaped peg. So it's just a case of push those together. It does fit quite nicely, so it shouldn't need any glue for that one, and that's looking just like that. Going to do the exact same thing for the handbrake. Again, it's a D-shaped hole and a D-shaped peg. That's just going to plug it in like that. So we've got those two parts like that. We're not going to do anything with the gear stick at the minute, but we are going to take our handbrake, and that's going to go into the hole here. And again, just a push fit, and that's it. And that's all there is to do in the first stage of this build pack. Right, so we'll move on to issue 52. Again, still get a lot of information about the movie and the car itself. We've got the battery compartment and dashboard. So it looks like we've got to start at the dashboard. It looks like we're going to need to remove a cable and attach the battery box like this. So it looks like we need to grab the interior, but it doesn't look like we're doing anything with the part we were actually supplied this time. Right, so this is the part we were supplied with this time, which is the dashboard, looking just like that. Now, we're not doing anything with this stage. We did get some AP screws. And we do need our interior and our battery box. And what we're going to be doing is feeding that cable through the hole, placing the battery box just in there, and then using the AP screws that were supplied with this issue, we're just going to secure that in place. Just ensuring that all these are nice and tight, but it is going into plastic, so you don't want to over tighten them and strip the threads out. But that is all there is to do in that stage. So we'll move on to stage 53. And we've got some dashboard components this time. And it looks like we are building up the dashboard onto this part. Looks like we're going to need something else from the circuit board as well. Looks like the dash illumination lights. Right, so these are our parts this time around. We're going to start off with this piece and this little instrument cluster. And we've just got a couple of pegs that we're going to push into the two holes there. So make sure that's pushed all the way in. Like so. And then we're going to add this to our dashboard. We're just going to put it onto these two lugs here, like so. And we're going to secure that with two AP screws through the back there. And there's two. So we've got that in there, like so. Next, we're going to take this instrument cluster. And we've got a larger hole and smaller hole. One's a peg, and one's going to take an AP screw to hold that in place. So we're just going to push that in from the front here, like so. And as I said, just secure it with a single AP screw from the back. Like so. Now we do have some gauges and they do need to go in a certain order. Just going to tip those out. Now the best thing to do is just look at the pictures and line them up as you go. Right, so I've noticed my gauges, some of them have got a little bit of excess plastic from the moulding process. So just clean them up very, very slightly. Also, you don't want to get rid of the silver. I'm not sure if it's silver plastic or silver paint. So the very first one to go in is this one. And that's just going to sit in here. And it is just a push fit. Right, so that's the first one in. And that needle is pointing off this way. And again, another very tight fit. So certainly don't have any worries about them potentially falling out. But that is what our dashboard is looking like just there, with all those gauges in place. And hopefully, if I do that, you can hopefully just about see what they look like. We're now going to get our instrument dials. And this is going to go in from the back. And it's just going to go over those two lugs like so. And this is where we're going to need our circuit board. And this is going to go in like so. And we need two AP screws to secure this in place, and that's going to sandwich the whole thing together. So that's in there like that. That's going to illuminate that dash panel as well as the main dash panel. That's looking just like so. We're then going to take this part, this circuit board, and that is going to sit behind these gauges. That's just going to sit in like so. And again, two AP screws will secure that in place. So that's what the back of the circuit board and dash panel is looking like. And that's the front. And that's all there is to do in that stage. So that moves us on to stage 54. Looks like we've got a bit more dashboard. Looks like we need another item. So it doesn't look like we're using that part again today, or this time. So yeah, in this stage we're not using the part we've supplied. Right, so this is the part we got in this stage, and we don't need that. We've got some OP screws, and we've had to retrieve our switch from our wiring and our circuit board, and we're basically going to be putting that into the car. Now, I don't think there's an on or off direction on this. Obviously, at the minute, that is in the on position. You can tell because you've got the two wires over on this switch. So, obviously, you've got preference, whichever way you want the on or off to be. Personally, eventually, I'm just going to have a blank here, and I'm not going to have a switch there. If you've seen previous video, I'm actually power modding this. So, this wire is pretty much redundant as well. And I'll just have it permanently on. So I'll probably just put a blanking piece in here and remove this switch eventually. But for the video, I'm placing it in. So we've got two OP screws to go in here and hold this switch in. I realise not everyone's going to be doing a power mod. Obviously, when doing this, be cautious of your roll bar. You don't want to snap that off, so don't put too much pressure on. But that is all there is to do in that stage. So that'll move us swiftly on to the penultimate issue, issue 55. And again, still working on the dashboard. So it looks like this is the lower part of the dashboard that we're putting together. So we've got a few parts that we're going to be adding on to this piece. So these are our parts. Obviously, we do need this from the previous stage. We've got plenty of AP screws. It looks like the first thing we're going to be doing is assembling our glove box. Now we've just got 2 holes and 2 pins. I'm just pushing those together. That fits together just like that. And then this will be going in just here. Like so. And then we have this little retaining bracket that's going to go over like that and secure that with 2 AP screws. We've got the second screw just going in there. I'm just going to tighten up this first one. So we've got our glove box just like that. The next thing we have is this piece, and that's just going to sit in those recesses like that. So we've got it looking like that, and then we're going to just close that off with this piece. And that will only fit one way around. I'm going to secure that in with 2 AP screws as well. Alright, although this does open and close, it's extremely difficult to open. So that's going to be definitely a permanent closed item, and obviously you're not going to be fiddling around inside your model trying to open that up. I believe that is probably just the ashtray, to be fair. But the glove box obviously works perfectly. But that is all there is to do in that stage. So that brings us on to the last stage of this build pack, 56. And we still got more dashboard. Now it looks like we've got another piece to go in the top there. So we end up with this at the end of it. So starting off with this piece and this piece. And that's just going to go like that. And we're going to put 2 KP screws in there. Change to a smaller PH0 bit for this one. These KP screws are much smaller. So just lining that up. Get one partly sighted. And then that means we can line this side up and get that one in. So we get that one tightened and that one tightened. We now need our screen looking just like that. And that is going to pop in here, like so. And then to hold that in place, we have this reflector. And that's going to go in just like that. And we're going to use 2 more KP screws to hold that in place. So that's looking just like that. I'm going to bring our dashboard over again. And this basically is going to go in here. Now, it's probably best to go from the inside like that and sit in like that. And like we did with the glove box, we have this bracket. And that's just going to secure it like that with 2 AP screws to hold that in place. I've got a couple of AP screws still here. So we have the screen that pops up like that now. We're now going to take our lower part of the dash and we're going to line all of that up like so. And we're just going to screw that all together. So we've got 3 screw holes there to line up, and we've got 3 AP screws to go into there. We're going to start with this end one, like so. Then we do this end one. And then we'll finish with the center one just going in here. And that's the end of that stage. And that is what our dashboard is looking like. Looking pretty good. Right, so I figured I'd quickly bring this up here, primarily because I said I wasn't going to use the switch anymore. Now, I have actually temporarily wired it in place for the moment, but obviously I'm going to do this through mains power. Now, what I've done is just basically added one of these USB-C connectors like this, and that's just in the back that you can see there, hopefully. And all that has on it is 2 JST connectors. So I put 2 on here because basically I wanted a spare. Don't know what else I'm going to add yet, but I'm sure there might be something that I will add in place. But the other one is going to the circuit board. As I said, I've wired the switch in for the minute just to give it continuity, but eventually that will be gone. The other thing I've got out the back, so plugged into the base of this, I've got this right-angled USB-C cable, extension cable, I think both of these just came off eBay, so you can search those off eBay. Just USB-C power cable and USB-C extension cable. I primarily went for this one because it's got the 90-degree bend, and it means that it comes out the back of the vehicle absolutely no problem at all, and it means it'll trail off out of the way nicely. But I figured I'd also power it up for you and obviously show you the dashboard. So if I just turn off a couple of the lights like that, and we'll just turn the lighting on, and if I move that lot out of the way, you can see that the dashboard has illuminated quite nicely. And obviously that's just temporarily balanced in place at the moment, but that is what it's looking like at the moment, and it is looking pretty good. The other thing I've done actually, I've got another cable running off here, and you might wonder what that is. It's another speaker. So my idea at the minute is I'm going to put another speaker at the front here, and all I've done with that, I've just spliced it together here. So as you can see, it's just wound together with the wires at the moment, and that's just JST lead coming off there, and we've got one plugged into there, and we've got another one plugged into a couple of extensions at a minute. As you can see, it's not ideal at the moment, it's just temporary for testing, but the idea is that this will sit at the front behind the intercooler there and be hidden away so you can't see it, but it does mean that when you start the engine, it'll come from front and back. Now, obviously, you're not going to get the benefit of that being just listening to us on YouTube and obviously for a single microphone, but it means that the sound's coming out the back and the front, and I think that's going to be a better option for this, just based on these two speakers. Obviously, the option is there to get a better speaker for this one, make it a little bit more bass heavy and give it a little bit better note on tone, but certainly as a quick fix, two speakers seem to work quite well. So that is everything to do in this build pack. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please remember to hit the like button below and give us a massive thumbs up. So that's the Skyline now done for another month. It might be a little bit longer than a month due to the holiday period, and I have seen that Fanhome are having a few logistic issues with Yodel and their last collection from Fanhome's warehouse. So it might be a little bit more than a month before we see this one again. But in the meantime, it does look fantastic, certainly when it's all lit up like this. That dashboard looks really, really good now that it's all lit up as well. With that, I am just using a 4-way USB. Now, obviously, that can power up to 4 models, and it's just running into a standard USB-C cable. Obviously, with the cable, it doesn't need to be a data cable or anything, it can just be standard power. But obviously, you want to be careful. You wouldn't want to plug a laptop power supply into this because it will blow that up. So 5 volts seems to be absolutely fine. So 5 volts from one of these USB outputs looks absolutely fine for this. And I've had it on for an entire day with no issues. It hasn't stopped working or anything like that. So although the batteries would have given it 6 volts, 5 volts seems to be absolutely perfect for it, with no loss of sound or brightness in any of these lights as far as I can tell. So if you want to do that, do check out some of the links below. I'll try and link up the eBay listings that I've got the parts from, as well as the USB plug as well. So do check all those out as well. If you want to get this for yourself, I'm not 100% sure if it's still available, but again, there'll be links in the description, so check those out as well. Also, if you want to get anything from the merch store, that will be below this video as well. You can get some hoodies like this, and they will certainly keep you warm in the colder months as they come along. Also, alongside that, there is that subscribe button. So if you want to hit the subscribe button and ding the bell for notifications, that way you'll know when I release new videos and you won't miss out anything that's going on in the workshop. And alongside that, you'll find that there is a join button as well. That join button will cost you a small monthly fee, but it will give you exclusive access to some behind the scenes videos, as well as some early access to some of the videos that I release as well. So do consider checking that out as well. And that is everything. So until the next time, I'll see you around. Cheers.